the defense, not great. What are some areas of concern? We'll start with the areas of concern. There were a couple of areas that I thought were really good. Areas of concern for this defense.
Yeah, Dave, I was just going to ask, do you want to start with the good, the bad, or the ugly? So we'll go with concern. I hear you there. It remains this linebacking group, and I'll group the box safeties in there. It's a run stopping concern in terms of linebackers, and that might sound strange when the Browns performed well against the Ravens rushing attack and then only allowed 68 rushing yards to a talented runner like Joe Mixon last night. But the linebackers aren't. The defensive line is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the run defense. We'll start there. And then in coverage, once again, the linebackers and box safeties cannot stay in front a lot of these slot receivers. The Bengals last night had a lot of success throwing to the middle of the field. It was the same thing the Ravens were able to do. It felt like whenever Joe Burrow needed 4, 5, 6 yards, he could just look between those hash marks, maybe a little wider, but inside the numbers regardless, and find an open receiver. Tyler Boyd. They had 2 different tight ends have some work. T. Higgins was involved a little bit. And that is what's so concerning about this defense, is because that's the NFL these days. You're throwing it across the middle because these players in space, you can't touch them. And when you don't have the athletes to stay in front of them, you get exposed. It's what's happening with this team, whether it's zone, whether it's man. I know I'm now talking outside the numbers, but I think of that early 4th down, the pick play. Tavierre Thomas just gets a simple rub play. They're playing at the same level at the line of scrimmage, and that can't happen. It's a concerning group whenever someone is lined up in the slot or a tight end lined up off tackle. I just have no confidence that the Browns are going to be able to get stops. And going forward, this offense is going to have to win shootouts. It's really how the Browns are going to be able to string together maybe 6, 7, 8, who knows, 9 wins here. But if they even want to stay in the realm of playoff possibility, the Browns offense is going to win games, not the defense.
Is there a guy that is banged up that could come back and help? I know, you realize Grant Delpit's done for the year. He would look awfully good is one of those box safeties. Does a Kevin Johnson or a Mac Wilson coming back help? Is there help can we get help anywhere for that group on the field?
I hear you. Last week after the game, we're doing a live podcast after the show, just kind of free chatting. And it was funny. I came on and we were talking about how Ronnie Harrison, like he was going to be the savior of this defense and the box safety group. He played 6 snaps last night. Pro Football Focus already has their grades out. He graded at a 30. 50 is below average. 65 is about average. So you can see he had a really bad game. In his defense, he only played 6 snaps, so this is not a rain on Ronnie parade. I can't even tell you the snaps he was on the field, to be quite honest. I need to go back and look at it. But that's concerning on the surface because he's a guy I thought could come in. I did a film study on him when the Browns acquired him, looking at his Jacksonville tape. He does have some promise. I'm not going to let that grade ruin his season, but it makes you really wonder if anyone coming back can help. You mentioned Mac Wilson. You mentioned Kevin Johnson. I'm excited to see Kevin. He's a guy who, again, cannot remain healthy. The best availability or the best ability sometimes is availability, and he needs to be out there to prove that. And Mac Wilson, yeah, he's a guy that the Browns desperately need, but again, he's not anyone who's going to completely flip this defense. I think the Browns have made their bed, so to speak, with this defense, and that puts a lot of pressure on the Browns offense going forward then.